I'm watching Family Feud the other day, and they did top 5 on the board, the worst trades in human history. Number 1 was the slave trade. Number 2 was the Louisiana Purchase. Number 3, the guy who sold 10% of Apple for $800 in 1976. 4 was Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death. And then 5th was already Luka for AD, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. The Herschel Walker trade didn't even make the list. The trade from Dallas to Minnesota, it's not even the craziest trade in the city anymore. It's not because of what you did. It's because of what you didn't get back. Not getting anything more than 1 first-round pick when James Harden got 4 first-round picks, and Paul George was able to get 5 first-round picks, and Anthony Davis was able for 3 first-round picks and 3 good players, and Russell Westbrook was 4 potential first, and Mikal Bridges was 5 first-round picks. The problem is not that you made the move. The problem, and what makes it one of the worst trades in all-time human history, is that for the value you had, you got nothing in return, and now your cupboard is completely bare. 4 picks over the next 5 years, no second-round picks, no future, everyone's hurt, no hope. Fans are revolting. You look like you made one of the worst decisions of all time, and it's still early, but I do not see how it can get any better. I think it's only going to get worse. Dallas, I am really hurting for you. This is one of the worst trades I've ever seen, and it's phenomenal how quickly the dominoes. And a year ago, you're in the finals, and now you're a team with no future. It is a rough time to be a Dallas Mavericks fan. This is a major league meltdown, and the pun and the picture is intended. This reminds me of the movie Major League, and if you haven't seen that movie, shame on you. It's one of the greatest sports movies of all time. So many great lines in there. Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball.
He no help with curveball.
Just a bit outside. Rest in peace to Bob Uecker. But I usually don't believe in conspiracies, but the Mavs situation has gotten so bad now with the news that Kyrie Irving is out for at least a year with a knee injury, and they're raising ticket prices. It has become such a shit show. It reminds me of the movie. And if you don't remember, the plot of the movie in Major League was that they had this new owner, Rachel Phelps, who had Vegas ties, and she wanted to move the team to a more exciting city. She wanted to take them from Cleveland to Miami, but she needed ticket sales to plummet. So what she decided to do was gut the roster in the hopes that the fans would get so pissed off that they would revolt and they could finally make the move. If you look in Dallas, they have a new owner in Miriam Adelson, the widow of a casino owner, Sheldon Adelson. She wants to move the team to Las Vegas, according to rumors, because it looks like they can't build their casinos, what she makes all her money on, in Texas. So in hopes of being able to just ruin the franchise, why don't you trade your best player, gut the roster? I mean, look, again, I am not a conspiracy guy, but damn it, that's that is pretty damn close to the movie, and it's almost kind of sad how much it's really like it seems like a thing. The Dallas Mavericks, this might be the worst trade already in all of sports history, and it's not become hyperbole anymore. A lot of people have talked about it. It has happened so fast. It has happened so fast. Dallas Mavericks fans, I feel for you. And again, we're going to talk about the Lakers in a little bit. Luka is shining out there in Los Angeles. Their future looks just completely bright, and yours couldn't look more bleak. It could not look more bleak. In just 1 year, I have no idea how you could screw something up this badly unless you were doing it on purpose.
How did you ever screw up so bad?
Unless you were doing this on purpose. Let's just go through the tape here and go through the timeline. In just 1 year, Dallas Mavericks, June 2024, you made the NBA Finals. I considered it a fluke, but you guys had a bright future. July, just a month later, in a 6-team trade, you acquire Klay Thompson. Looks like you finally got the shooter that you need. And we cut to October, start of the season, you're a consensus top 8. Vegas favorite to win. A lot of them had you top 5, top 3 odds to make it back to the NBA Finals. December 7th, not that long ago, you're 16-8. You're riding a 7-game win streak. Luka is like 6th in the MVP race. Everything's looking bright as can be. And then February 2nd comes. You trade Luka out of nowhere for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. No Austin Reeves, no multiple picks. February 8th, Davis's first game. This poor bastard injures himself by the third quarter in his first game after concerns of being kind of a Mr. Glass type. Then just a month later, March 3rd, Kyrie then tears his ACL. He's out for this season and maybe all of next, we don't know. Not to mention in his contract, he can opt out after the end of the season here. He might be able to just leave and go somewhere else. March 6th, now you fall to 19th in odds to win the title underneath Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, who just traded away Butler. And by the way, they just raised ticket prices 8.61% next season due to ongoing investment in the team and fan engagement. That is a hell of a year.
How did you ever screw up so bad?
The epitome of we'll see. Just last season, you're like, guys, man, we're really there. We're close. I really think, we just need to make a couple moves. We pick up Klay Thompson. I think we're really ready to make a push this year. Oklahoma City's not ready for us, yada, yada, yada. And man, it just went south so fast. And yes, the injuries are always something that are hard to predict. However, it is not hard to predict with two older guys in their 30s that guys like Kyrie and Anthony Davis and Kyrie playing extended minutes, this could have happened. So the idea that maybe this is all truly that conspiracy that people have talked about, it's not as crazy as it sounds anymore to me. I usually think conspiracies are just bullshit. I don't really buy into them, but this one is really starting to make me go, good Lord, there might be something. This might be a major league meltdown. This might be one of the worst trades of all time. And again, I want to reiterate as I break this down because we really need to get into it. It's not that you traded Luka Doncic, as if you can pop up the next picture here for me, Mateo. I want to stress, I'm not mad at the Dallas Mavericks for wanting to move on from Luka Doncic, at least in theory. That is not the issue. The issue has become you got nothing for it. And that is the problem here. I do not really get that bothered by the idea that the Dallas Mavericks said, hey, look, we're about to pay this dude $345 million over the next 5 years. That is 35% of our salary cap. And as great as he is, he doesn't seem to want to come into camp in shape. He seems to want to be kind of laissez-faire about the whole thing. I'm in agreement that a lot of times you do not want that at the helm of your leaders, to be the one that doesn't set the example. So you want to move on from Luka. I understand that. That's fine. The problem is all you got was an injury-prone 31-year-old Anthony Davis and a first-round pick in Max Christie for a 25-year-old Luka Doncic. That's the part that you can't just reiterate enough. That is going to be the crux of the issue. When we look back on this in history, people are going to say, you know what, maybe moving on from Luka wasn't the craziest idea in the world. But the crazy idea was that somehow you thought he was only worth just one first-round pick, when historically, we have seen it recently, players that aren't even nearly as good as Luka or as old as Luka, teams got so much more. How did you get so little? That is the part that's hard enough to try to wrap your head around. I mean, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick for Luka is not the same as you see in the picture, and there's a lot I got to break down here. But, I mean, James Harden, 2021, the Nets to get him had to trade Jared Allen, LeVert, 4 first-round picks, and 3 pick swaps. Paul George, when 2019, the Clippers had to send SGA 5 first-round picks and 4 swaps to get Paul George. Anthony Davis, the guy that you just got back, they got more for him in 2019. LA had to send Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks for that. Russell Westbrook, who has always had, his issues, in 2019, Houston had to send Chris Paul 4 potential first-round picks. And just last year, Mikal Bridges, who I'm sure is a nice guy, but is nowhere freaking near Luka Doncic, New York had to send Bogdanovich and 5 first-round picks. So to review, James Harden, they had to trade for Jared Allen, LeVert, 4 first-round picks. Paul George, they had to send SGA 5 first, 4 pick swaps. Anthony Davis, they had to send Lonzo Ball, Ingram, Hart, and 3 first-round picks. Russell Westbrook, they had to send Chris Paul 4 potential first, and for Mikal Bridges, New York had to send Bogdanovich and 5 first-round picks. And for a 25-year-old 5-time All-Pro, just last year's leading scorer, made the NBA Finals, all you got back was Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 1 first-round pick. That makes no sense. That is the part that is going to be historically, not that Nico Harrison had a bad idea or that ownership had a bad idea about the possibility of moving on from Luka because he's out of shape, he shows immaturity, and I think that, we need to move on and set a better tone as a franchise. The problem was we can all look, we all have the internet, we can see and remember with our brains how people that were way less valuable than Luka, teams got way more. So if you wanted to shop him, but the way y'all did it behind the scenes and it was all secretive and weird, and all you got back was one first-round pick, a 31-year-old Davis and Max Christie for a 26-year-old five-time All-NBA player makes no goddamn sense. And it's even worse when you consider the Dallas Mavericks, more than any other franchise, arguably in the NBA currently, is in need of draft picks. How were they all able to get all those draft picks, and all you got was one first-round pick, and your cupboard is completely bare? The Dallas Mavericks have no future anymore. Besides the injuries, you know, at least if you're going to trade away your future now, you settle it for a future later. There is no future anymore. From 2025 to 2030, Dallas Mavericks have the 25th least, they're ranked 25th in picks with only 4 first-round picks over the next 5 years, from 2025 to 2030. And last I count, and people correct me if you're able to see anything different, I see 0 second-round picks. So they have 4 picks left for the next 5 years after they traded away their franchise guy. Again, not to mention Kyrie can opt out at the end of the year. Klay and AD are, I guess, hey, congratulations, you get to hold on to an aging Klay Thompson and an injury-prone Anthony Davis for the next couple of years. But the one star you had is hurt for at least a season, and now he's out and could be out for good. You're now 10th in the West. You're 32-31. You've lost your last 3. 4 of your last 10 have only ended up in victories. So you lost 6 out of your last 10. It is bad out there. I mean, this has got to be, when we look back, and it's early still, and maybe things can turn around. I don't see how this isn't arguably already one of the worst trades in history. And I thought it was hyperbole when people said it, but you look at the results and you look at what's happening and you look at the early, returns. It is pretty obvious to me that this might be one of the worst trades we've ever seen. Nico Harrison might be one of the worst general managers of all time. Matter of fact, I thought this was nuts. If you can pop this picture before me, Mateo. I'm watching Family Feud the other day, and they did top 5 on the board, the worst trades in human history. And I mean, number 1 was the slave trade. Number 2 was the Louisiana Purchase. Number 3, the guy who sold 10% of Apple for $800 in 1976. 4 was Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death. And then 5th was already Luka for AD, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. It's not even, the Herschel Walker trade didn't even make the list. I mean, the trade from Dallas to Minnesota, it's not even the craziest trade in the city anymore, and is arguably one of the 5 worst trades of all time in human history if you really look at it. And again, it's not because of what you did. It's because of what you didn't get back. Just the fact of the matter is, not getting anything more than 1 first-round pick when James Harden got 4 first-round picks, and Paul George was able to get 5 first-round picks, and Anthony Davis was able for 3 first-round picks and 3 good players, and Russell Westbrook was 4 potential first, and Mikal Bridges was 5 first-round picks. The problem is not that you made the move. The problem, and what makes it one of the worst trades in all-time human history, is that for the value you had, you got nothing in return, and now your cupboard is completely bare. 4 picks over the next 5 years, no second-round picks, no future, everyone's hurt, no hope, fans are revolting. You look like you made one of the worst decisions of all time, and it's still early, but I do not see how it can get any better. I think it's only going to get worse. Dallas, I am really hurting for you, but I mean, all jokes aside, this is one of the worst trades I've ever seen, and it's phenomenal how quickly the dominoes, it's just crazy how much things and momentum can leave you. I mean, a year ago, you're in the finals, and now you're a team with no future. It is a rough time to be a Dallas Mavericks fan. How did y'all screw this up so bad?
How did you ever screw up so bad?
My only thing I could say is I truly may have to believe in the conspiracy that Adelson wanted to get their ass out of Dallas and wants to go to Vegas. It is really the only thing that makes sense at this point. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. So sorry, Dallas fans. You didn't deserve this. Y'all are pretty nice people. I mean, I've lived in Dallas. I've never had any problems with Mavericks fans. Cowboys fans, different story. Maverick fans, Completely nice people, very loyal, very supportive, and doesn't seem to deserve what has actually happened to them.